Hey guys, how are you? Welcome back to my garden on a kind of cooler winter day. Actually, the temperatures are not so cold, but the wind makes it feel quite cold. And this is why I'm trying to find some shelter here just in front of my garden shed. But what I want to do is I want to do a little planting, and I've already announced it in my previous video. And this is going to happen in the back of a garden in an area where I already prepared a little bit, and it is also nice and sheltered there, so there's no cold winds. I'm really excited about that. So what I want to do today is I want to take you with me to the back of a garden and do some planting in the vegetable garden. So how I want to structure today's video is, first of all, I'm going to show you the area. Then second of all, I'm going to show you everything that I prepared, show you the plant obviously, and then also lose a couple of words about like the plant in particular. So I hope that you are excited to join me in my garden today again. This is the end of a garden. So the garden is on top of a dike. I'm outside the city of Gdańsk. This is a zone 7B if I'm correct. I'm always in between 7A, 7B, something like this, but it's generally a nice area for gardening. So if I step out, this is the back of a garden. It is a slope, which I leveled out into terraces. And on the right side, I've got all of my vegetables. I've got 3 raised beds, and then I've got still, well, it looks really grubby at the moment. I need to get in here at one point and do a little like preparing the vegetable garden video with you. I still got a few things that I can harvest even. I've got some leeks in there that are still looking nice. Then I've got some purple Brussels sprouts. And then if I just swing around quickly, just to give you an idea, this is the left side. And it's sometimes hard to believe that just 3 months ago, all of this was an area that was filled with color, like big leaves and cannas and dahlias and ornamental grasses. And now it's kind of just like, yeah, the site of winter time, obviously. And you see how important sometimes winter structures are, such as the miscanthus grass. The lavender looks really nice. I'm not really good with growing lavender here, though, because in winter time, most of the time, you can see over there the big puddle, it's too wet for lavender. And this is pretty much what kills it over winter here. It's not really the frost necessarily. It is the cold temperatures. Where I want to work today is in the back here, behind the raised bed. And you already see in my raised bed what I want to plant. Well, first of all, you still see some carrots. The Parisian markets, they were still looking quite nice, and they're all for Alfie now. Then you see some offspring. These are my delphiniums. Only one delphinium that's never eaten by slugs and snails. So I have sowed some of those. They look really wonderful. But what I want to plant today sits here, and I couldn't help it but buy it because of the label. It is a grape. And the magic word about this one is seedless. It's Vitis and said seedless, and I love when grapes are seedless. I already have a grape growing next to the garage. It is a light one, like a white one, light green one, how do you say it? Which is nice. It has seeds. It makes wonderful jelly. I made a couple of jars of jelly this year, but then I thought, oh, I would love to have another one. And this area here is fully southwest facing, which is brilliant. And then exactly the back here is really sun-filled. So this is the area that gets most of the sun, and this is where I want to put some grapes. So what I want to do is, and you might see already, I come with my finger now, very professional. Here are these like metal spikes that I've already prepared and put them on the ground. They're all dead level on the same height, which is always important. I'm not going to put concrete in there now because the temperatures are, it's not warm enough for the concrete to really get hard. So I'm a little scared that this is not going to work. But what I want to do is put a fence section up here, pretty much the same black fence that I already have in the upper garden. Okay, now comes the reality, to hide a little bit what is going on there, what the neighbor is doing there, because I'm a little like overlooking at the scenery. In summertime, you don't really see it that much because everything is green, but then wow, there is winter time and you still see it. So I'll be quite happy to have a nice backdrop, and it's stained black, which is also, I think, quite nice to reflect the sun. And then in front of it, I'm going to grow the wine. So what I will do now is take you with me into the garden, into the upper garden, and show you everything that I've already prepared for today's project. Alfie's also with me in the garden. Hello, Alfie. You having a good time? Yeah? Having a good time? You eating something? You got already 2 carrots. That was good, right? So this is what I've already prepared. Very professional, everything lying on the ground. So these are the fence sections that I use and I love to use. And I already have them here, just behind the plum tree. And I think that they work really brilliant. They're quite cheap. I get them for roughly, I think in dollars or euros, it's probably something like, I don't know, 12 euros, something around that. Maybe like, I don't know how much it is in dollars. Maybe, let's just say $12 as well. I really have no idea about the currency exchange at the moment. I stain them black because they come just like a normal wood color. And what I do is, after I stain them, I prepare them already so that I can just really easily attach them. So I already drilled holes in here. Oh, where it is? And then put a screw in here. So if I swing around here, you see it, there it is. So there is a hole, and then I still need to put like 1 screw in here. So I've got my screw gun, and I like to use black galvanized screws because then they kind of just disappear in the black stained wood, which I think is always really wonderful. Next thing I need, this is like a metal wire. It is quite sturdy and it has a rubber coating around it, which is nice because then it withstands the weather conditions quite well. And this is really wonderful if you have anything that winds or climbs, because then you give it an extra support. What else do I need? I have poles here, and I've got two different kind of poles. I've got these rectangle ones that I also stained just one layer. You can definitely see the distance of like one layer of stain compared to multiple layer of stains, how it is on the fence section. So these are important so that I can attach the fence to those poles. So these will go into the metal spikes that I just showed you. And then here I've got these thick round poles, and this is where I want to train my wine. So I've got 3 of those. And what we'll do now is bit by bit install the entire fence section, and then I want to really give you some details on how you can attach a wine, and just maybe a couple of details about a wine. In general, I grow wine just for the fun of it, just to have some fruit, maybe to make some jelly, and this is all I want to have out of it. So I'm not a professional fruit or vegetable grower. What I do in the vegetable garden, this is just pure fun for myself. If you want to grow wine or grapes in your own garden, it is definitely very important that you choose a very sunny and warm area in your garden. If you want to have lovely fruit, do not try and grow them somewhere in partly shade. South-facing walls, west-facing walls are always amazing. I'm just looking at that because Alfie is there and I bet she's going to come in a second. But what is also important for wine is the soil. I mean, I don't grow them because of like food production really. I just grow it because of the fun of it. But wine in general thrives quite well on a soil that has minerals in it, and it really affects the taste and the flavor of your grapes. I have sandy soil here, but they can cope really well also with soil that is a little bit on the acidic side if you have chalk in your soil. And the reason is that those minerals in the sun, they will heat up and then they will speed up the entire growth process of your wine. Speaking of growth process and heat, this is also why I chose black here as well. I do have black in the garden. I love black on wood in the garden, but it's very good because this is southwest facing, and it means that the black wood is going to reflect the heat of the sun, and I think that this is going to be very positive for the wine. Next thing that is important is the support system. Other than this ornamental wine that you sometimes grow in your garden, for example, on a house wall, the one that has like these lovely red leaves in autumn time, they can attach themselves to a wall. A wine like this one here, like Vitis, cannot attach itself anywhere. It is wining, so this is why you need to have like a wire where you can kind of just like grow it around. You might see on grapes, I sometimes have these like spirals that come out of the branches, and this is how they try to attach somewhere. But this is definitely a lovely help that you can give to your plants. So I've prepared my soil, and as I always do it, I just come in with fresh garden soil from the garden center, and then some organic bone chips, because organic bone chips, they break down to nitrogen, and this is generally always good for most of the plants. So taking it out of the container, I already checked in the garden center this time. It's always good when you take a plant out of a container and the soil does not crumble apart, so it has developed a good root system, but also when it's not pot bound, which means that the roots are growing round and round in the pot, and this does not happen here. So I'm kind of checking if I need to tease them apart, but I think I don't, because all of the roots actually look really well. I'm just going to maybe here like some of the fleshy ones so that they can grow outwards, because if it's pop on, if they start growing round and round, they really have a hard time trying to grow outwards, and this is what you want. You want to make sure that your plant does not just keeps on producing roots all the way around how it was in the container. And then you just put it in that level exactly to how it was in its container. And especially now, this time of the year in winter, when you do put it into the ground, firm it in well. No air pockets needed, because this is where the frost might come in. And then this might be the end of my lovely new wine in the garden, even before it has started. It's very protected area here, which is also good for wine. So protected areas always work pretty well. Nevertheless, I'm going to put some mulch over it. I use bone chips, and you see that this area here, I have landscape fabric here actually, to make sure that wheat is not coming through everywhere. So this is really just like a little bit of a convenience thing that I do here. But this is already looking quite nice. So the next thing that I will do is I will come in and remove these tiny plastic strips that they put here. There's another one there, obviously. And then the label. I'm just going to put the label down for now. Later on I'm going to store it so I can always remember what I had here. And now you can come with your branch and just really put it in between the support system that I put in and the metal wire, because now this is going to hold it in position and in place, and this is good. This is definitely the strongest branch. Here's another one which is a little flimsy. Here comes Alfie also, because I have a branch in my finger so she thinks I'm going to play with her. But this is all I'm going to do now. Don't need to water it in because there is a lot of moisture and there is rain on its way, but this wine should be very happy here. Obviously, I can't wait to give you updates once the temperatures are warming up and how it's going to look. Right, you're also excited? Yes? Oh, you're dirty. You're dirty. Oh God, you're really a little piglet on your feet again. So yeah, what I'm going to do now is say bye to you in a second, and then I will also play with Alfie. That's it for today's video. When I just flipped the camera, I was like, oh my God, my hair looks so crazy because of the wind. So I think I'm going to have a jolly good time editing whatever I just filmed. So let's see how this is going to go down. One last word, if you intend on planting anything during winter time, just based from my experience, two things work extremely well. And those are arborvitaes and yew. So any kind of conifers work really well, as long as you obviously don't have frozen ground and the weather forecast is on your side. So you're not going to have like heavy frost for the next couple of days / weeks actually. And when you plant it, make sure that you really firm it in well, because you do not want that frost comes close to those roots, because this is what really can cause some damage to your lovely plants. But thank you so much for watching today's video. Hope it was interesting for you. Thank you so much for giving me a thumbs up or for subscribing to my channel. And as always, I would really love to welcome you in my garden next time around. Take care, guys. Bye.